disappointing 1-4 start has made Carolina Panthers make strict decisions. The coach Matt Rhule was fired. This came as a surprise to many, as only 3 seasons ago, Rhule was brought in to replace Ron Rivera by signing a 4-year contract worth $62 million. He was seen as the savior for the Panthers. However, things have not gone according to plan for Rhule and the Panthers. Without any delay, let's get into the tea. First things first, the vexation of the owner, David Tepper. In an interview with David Tepper, the owner of the Carolina Panthers, he expressed his views on firing Matt Rhule as head coach. Tepper's made the decision to fire Rhule after a disappointing season in which the Panthers finished with a record of 11-27. Although Rhule got fired in his 3rd season, Tepper said that he felt it was necessary to make a change. "I think Matt is a good coach," said Tepper, "but I didn't feel like we were going in the right direction." Tepper also said that he believes the team needs to make some changes in order to be successful in the future. "We need to make some changes in personnel and in our coaching staff," said Tepper. "I think we have the potential to be a great team, but we need to make some changes." The real question, how are the Panthers struggling under Rhule? Under Rhule, the Panthers struggled on both sides of the ball. They ranked 27th in points scored and 28th in points allowed. The offense was especially an issue, as they ranked dead last in yards per game. Rhule reportedly had trouble connecting with his players and was unable to get them to buy into his system. In his 2 seasons at the helm, the team has compiled a record of just 13-21. That includes a disappointing 5-11 mark this past season. The team had a losing record and was in danger of missing the playoffs. There were several reasons for the team's struggles. The defense has always been inconsistent. The unit gave up too many big plays and failed to make stops when it mattered most. Special teams were also a big disaster. The team missed field goals, allowed return touchdowns, and made critical errors in key moments. As a result of these struggles, the Panthers missed the playoffs, and Matt Rhule is not on the hot seat anymore. In addition to their lack of success on the field, it's also clear that Rhule has lost the locker room. Several key players have publicly voiced their frustration with his coaching style in recent weeks. That includes star players like senior quarterback Zach Smith, who was rumored to be transferring before the season began. The Panthers have made some changes this offseason, including hiring a new offensive coordinator, Ben McAdoo. However, it remains to be seen if that will be enough to turn things around. Ultimately, it was simply time for a change in Carolina. Moving on, we have the future of the Panthers with or without Rhule. Defensive coordinator Phil Snow and assistant special teams coach Ed Foley were also terminated along with the head coach. Snow followed Rhule in 2020 after he left the organization to head to the Hawks. Steve Wilks has been appointed to the interim coach. Tepper noted that once the team's season is finished, he will need to wait and see if Wilks is a candidate for a vacant full-time position. Tepper did not rule that out, but he noted that the success rate for college coaches in the NFL isn't great. The next coach likely will not sign a contract for 7 years like Rhule's. Carolina Panthers defensive assistant coach Al Holcomb is expected to be named Carolina's new defensive coordinator. NFL Network insiders Ian Rappaport and Mike Garofalo reported. Holcomb was Wilks' defensive coordinator in Arizona. Like Rhule and Snow, general manager Scott Fitterer, who was hired in Carolina after Rhule in January 2020, is staying on for now. Tepper added that a better distribution of power to the next coach and Fitterer is preferable to the pre-existing arrangement under Rhule. NFL coaches have been in a season of getting fired concurrently. Let's have a look at the 8 recent NFL coaches that have been fired. First and foremost, we have Urban Meyer of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars fired head coach Urban Meyer, ending a tumultuous tenure with the franchise after just 13 games. In Meyer's 1-season stint with the Jaguars, the team went 2-11, its 10th season in a row of double-digit losses in the modern era, but struggles off the field prompted his ousting. Meyer hired a conditioning coordinator who was suspected of making racial slurs and teasing black athletes. Also, video footage of Meyer with a woman who was not his wife at a bar displayed his tension and hostility. Controversies have been a part of his life since he was hired. Next up, we have John Gruden of Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Gruden was discussed to be fired, but this option was never thought to be a likelihood. The Buccaneers won a Super Bowl in Gruden's first year with the team, and it was on average near the playoffs in all his other seasons. To say the very least, this is an odd choice coming so late in the offseason. The number of available coaches is low. Also, David Culley's era in Houston has come to an end. The Texans have fired their head coach after just 1 season, the team announced on Friday. Culley, 65, was hired last January to replace Bill O'Brien, who was fired after 4 seasons. Under Culley, the Texans went 4-12 and missed the playoffs for the 2nd straight year. The chairman and CEO gave him a peaceful goodbye and said that the team needed to move in a new direction. Culley joined the Texans after spending the previous 4 seasons as the Baltimore Ravens wide receivers coach. Next up, Joe Judge of the Giants. In January 2022, Joe Judge of the New York Giants was fired from his position as head coach. This comes after a disappointing season for the team, who finished with a record of 6-10. Some players complained that he was too demanding and that he didn't communicate well. He had no prior experience as a head coach at any level. He was viewed as a disciplined, no-nonsense coach who would bring a winning culture to the team. However, the team struggled under his leadership, and many players were unhappy with his style. now. In his 2 seasons as head coach of the Giants, Judge compiled a record of 12-20. He was fired after the team's poor performance. Adding to the list, Brian Flores of Dolphins. After only 1 season with the Miami Dolphins, head coach Brian Flores has been fired from his position. The move comes as a surprise to many, as Flores led the team to a 10-6 record and just missed out on the playoffs. However, it seems that ownership was not happy with the direction of the team under Flores. They felt that the team was not progressing enough and decided to make a change. It will be interesting to see who the Dolphins hire as their next head coach. They will surely want someone who can help take the team to the next level and get them back into the playoffs. Furthermore, we have Mike Zimmer of the Vikings. Mike Zimmer of the Vikings has been fired from his coaching position. This comes after a disappointing season for the team, which finished with a record of 7-9. Zimmer had been with the team for 6 seasons, and this was his first losing season. Some have speculated that Zimmer was fired due to disagreements with management about the direction of the team. Others believe that his firing was simply due to the team's poor performance this season. Either way, it is clear that the Vikings are moving in a different direction without Mike Zimmer at the helm. Moreover, second chance for Matt Nagy. After only 2 seasons at the helm, Matt Nagy of the Bears was fired from the coach position. In his time with the team, Nagy led them to a record of 6-11, including a disappointing finish this past season. Nagy's firing comes as a surprise to many, as he was widely seen as one of the most promising young coaches in the league. However, it seems that the Bears front office has lost patience with him after consecutive losing seasons. It will be interesting to see where Nagy goes from here. He is sure to land another coaching job quickly, but it remains to be seen if he can turn around another franchise like he was unable to do with the Bears. Last but not least, we have Vic Fangio of the Broncos. Vic Fangio was dismissed as the head coach of the Denver Broncos after being 19-30 in 3 seasons. The Broncos lost their last 4 games to finish 7-10, capped by a 28-24 loss to Kansas City on Saturday, in which they lost a 4th-quarter lead and prolonged their losing streak against the Chiefs to 13 games. Fangio's team struggled on offense and special teams, and his game of strength, including using timeouts, challenges, and clock management, was not as expert as it was in all of his 3 previous seasons with the Denver Broncos. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think about the firings of these coaches? Were they justified or not? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.